You don't vote for them. You don't see their names on ballots. But they own your house, your job, your data, and sometimes even your politicians. They don't build anything, sell anything, or create anything. They move money, and somehow that makes them more powerful than presidents. Because in modern America, money doesn't just talk, it governs. Welcome to the Financial Historian, where money, power, and history collide. And nothing is ever as simple as it looks. Most people have heard the term hedge fund, but few really know what it means. The name itself sounds like something between a legal loophole and a landscaping service, but behind it lies one of the most powerful ideas in modern finance. A hedge fund is, at its core, a private investment club for the rich. It's a pool of money collected from wealthy investors and pension funds, managed by a small team with one mission: make as much profit as possible, using any strategy the law allows. Unlike regular investment funds, which have strict rules, hedge funds are nearly unregulated. A mutual fund, the kind ordinary people buy, must play by the rules. It can't take extreme risks. It must report its holdings publicly. It's like driving on a well-marked highway. A hedge fund, on the other hand, drives off-road fast. It borrows money to multiply its bets, buys and sells complicated contracts called derivatives, and even profits when markets crash. The first hedge fund, founded in 1949 by Alfred Winslow Jones, was actually designed to reduce risk. His idea was simple: buy stocks he thought would rise, and bet against others he thought would fall. This is called shorting. Here's how it works. You borrow a share worth $100 and immediately sell it. If the price drops to $60, you buy it back, return the share, and keep the $40 difference. It's risky, because if the price goes up, your potential loss is unlimited. Jones used this to hedge his bets. But decades later, that same idea would evolve into something very different. By the 1980s, America entered an era of financial deregulation. Wall Street was flooded with cheap debt. Suddenly, hedge funds, operating in a gray zone invisible to most regulators, could amplify their bets. If a normal investor is playing chess, hedge funds are playing poker with other people as chips at a table the public doesn't even know exists. Their influence exploded. In 1992, a fund led by George Soros bet against the British pound and won. The entire Bank of England lost. Soros made over $1 billion in 1 week. One private investor moved a national currency. That's not a market player. That's an empire. Then came the warning shot. Long-Term Capital Management, or LTCM. Founded by Nobel Prize-winning economists, its math seemed invincible, until it wasn't. In 1998, a Russian debt default triggered a domino effect, and LTCM's losses threatened to collapse global markets. The Federal Reserve had to organize a private rescue. That was the moment hedge funds learned something profound. If you're big enough, the system will save you. From that point on, hedge funds stopped just playing the markets. They started shaping them. In the 2000s, they became trillion-dollar institutions, hiring former government officials and lobbying for laws that favored them. In 2008, as the housing bubble burst, one manager, John Paulson, made $20 billion betting that mortgages would fail, while millions lost their homes. After the crisis, banks were reined in with new regulations, but hedge funds, being private, largely escaped those rules. They filled the void, buying up foreclosed homes, entire neighborhoods at a time. Today, they own hundreds of thousands of single-family homes. You no longer rent from a person. You rent from a spreadsheet in New York that decides your rent. It's not corruption, it's architecture. They also became the shadow banking system, lending directly to companies at high interest rates. This private credit market is now worth over $2 trillion, roughly the size of Italy's entire economy. But their real power comes from influence. They are top political donors to both parties. Regulators retire and join hedge funds, lobbying the same agencies they once led. It's a revolving door ensuring the rules favor them, and they can profit from both stability and chaos. They even issue catastrophe bonds, literally letting you bet on the climate. Risk is just another revenue stream. They don't just play markets, they own the data that drives them, buying satellite images, credit card records, and using algorithms to predict our behavior. It's financial surveillance. They don't need to control governments. They just need to know what governments will do a few seconds before everyone else. The irony. Your own retirement fund is probably part of it. Pension funds invest in hedge funds for higher returns, unknowingly funding the very forces driving up prices. Hedge funds don't see themselves as villains. They see themselves as realists, providing liquidity and efficiency. But the concentration of power always accelerates until it breaks. Empires collapse not from a lack of money, but a lack of balance. The new empire isn't built on ships or spices. It's built on leverage and data. Hedge funds are the new trading companies, private sovereigns, in a world where capital moves faster than law. The tragedy isn't that we lost democracy to corruption. It's that we traded it, piece by piece, for efficiency, until control no longer needed permission. If this gave you a new perspective, hit subscribe. History has the answers. I'll show you where to look.